charges got dropped so I can start calling it a scammer. But guess what?
Wait. You never really explained what happened. Tell me what happened with the whole situation.
So what happened was my business manager was paying down all these people for the TV and the bed. He was paying all these people, but he was pocketing some of the money. So the people were communicating to my management, to my manager, but I fired my old management, so they didn't get out the emails and stuff. They were like, yo. So basically, just because I had a lawsuit in the past, they're like, oh, this guy's a scammer. His whole team is scammers, not responding. He owes us money. But it's like, bro, you guys came to my house, you guys. So basically, they did a raid. They got a warrant for Broadshire County. They did a raid. They took all this stuff out, and now all the charges getting dropped because they figured that I was paying. They see that they took my computers and everything, so they seen all the stuff that was my business manager fault and all that type of stuff.
Man, when you think of Sean Kingston, the first thing that comes to mind is that summer anthem, "Beautiful Girls." Back in 2007, you couldn't step outside without hearing that song blasting from cars, clubs, and radios everywhere. A Jamaican kid with a baby face, blending reggae with pop, and instantly becoming a global superstar. He followed it up with fire burning and features with artists like Justin Bieber, Nicki Minaj, and Wiz Khalifa. Sean had the world in the palm of his hand, millions of dollars pouring in, major label deals, and a fan base that treated him like he was next up to be a music icon.
Rapper Sean Kingston has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison after being convicted of a $1 million fraud scheme.
But here's the thing about fame. It doesn't always last. Behind the scenes, Sean was already living a lifestyle way bigger than his pockets. Mansions, yachts, custom cars, and especially jewelry. He loved flaunting diamonds so much that jewelers started whispering that he rarely paid his bills in full. In fact, lawsuits started piling up from jewelers claiming he walked out with six-figure pieces on credit and never paid them back.
Comes after the singer, legally known as Keyshawn Paul Anderson, and his mom Janice Turner were convicted in March of conspiracy and multiple counts of wire fraud. Kingston and his mother were arrested in May 2024 after a SWAT raid on his rental mansion.
Some jewelers even started clowning him online, saying he was more interested in looking rich than actually being rich. And this wasn't just gossip. Court records show that over the years, Sean faced multiple lawsuits from jewelers in Miami, New York, and Los Angeles. The amounts? Tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands. He settled some, ignored others, and every time, his reputation took another hit.
Prosecutors say the Beautiful Girls singer lured sellers of luxury goods to his Florida homes, promising social media promotion, but instead sent fake wire transfer receipts to get the merchandise without pay.
What fans didn't realize at the time was that the money from Beautiful Girls was drying up fast. Then came the career decline. Around 2010 to 2011, his music wasn't charting the way it used to. And then tragedy almost struck. Sean had that horrific jet ski accident in Miami where he nearly lost his life. It left him hospitalized for weeks and sidelined his career. For a while, fans thought that might have been his wake-up call to slow down and get serious about his finances. But instead, the mess only got worse.
So Sean Kingston has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison today after being convicted of a $1 million fraud scheme. So back in March, him and his mum were convicted for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, plus 4 counts of wire fraud. His mum was sentenced to 5 years in prison while Sean's sentencing was rescheduled, and now it's finally happened. Court records say that Sean used his social media to arrange purchases of high-end goods from April 2023 to March 2024. After he negotiated the deals, he'd invite sellers to one of his homes in Florida and promised to feature them alongside their products on his social media. When it was time for Sean or his mum to pay, a text would be sent to the victims with fake wire receipts for their luxury products. Some of the products included a 232-inch LED TV, watches, and a Cadillac Escalade. The victims would contact Sean and his mum when the money wasn't cleared. They were either never paid or only received money if they filed lawsuits or contacted law enforcement. Oh, 2025, you are the gift that keeps on giving.
After the accident, Sean tried to stage a comeback. He put out songs, tried to connect with the new wave of artists, but the industry had already moved on. At the same time, the lawsuits and money problems were catching up. Reports came out of cars being repossessed, houses going into foreclosure, and constant beef with promoters claiming he took deposits for shows and then never showed up. Sean Kingston went from a hitmaker to a walking lawsuit. And when your career starts sinking but your spending doesn't stop, you start looking for shortcuts.
Earlier this week, Kingston and his lawyers asked the judge to consider home confinement due to the nonviolent nature of the crime and the fact that Kingston had paid most of the victims back. Your big black ass defrauded the banks out of $1 million and you think you just going to get house arrest? Some people just have a bad relationship with reality.
For Sean, those shortcuts turned into scams. That's where the fraud stories start popping up. Promoters claimed he tricked them out of deposits. Small business owners said he'd show up, flex his celebrity name, get products or services on credit, and then vanish without paying. His own label situation got messy too. Delays, disputes, and industry folks saying he was burning bridges everywhere. But the wildest part?
Assistant U.S. Attorney Mark Anton said Kingston was somewhat addicted to a celebrity lifestyle that he could no longer afford anymore. Before his sentencing, Kingston apologized in court and said he had learned from his mistakes. His lawyers asked the judge to allow him to surrender later because of health issues, but Judge David denied the request. Kingston, who was dressed in a black suit and a white shirt, was taken into custody immediately after sentencing. Stories like this be so sad. Like, if you're gonna be out here scheming, why are you scheming for materialistic stuff? It's so petty. It's so petty. And now you got to go spend 3.5 years of your life in prison. You, the same person that they're talking about got a teenager mentality, is about to go to prison.
Sean wasn't running these plays alone. His mom, Janice Turner, was right there by his side. According to investigators, she wasn't just aware of the scams, she was actively helping him pull them off. If Sean wanted to look like a big baller when the money was gone, Janice was allegedly the one moving the wires, making the calls, and keeping the scams rolling. That brings us to the $1 million fraud case that landed him in front of a judge. Prosecutors laid it all out. Sean Kingston and his mom conspired to defraud businesses out of over $1 million through wire fraud. They said Sean used his celebrity status to get luxury goods, services, and even electronics, promising money that never came. It wasn't just one bad deal. It was a pattern. And in the courtroom, the details had people's jaws on the floor. Prosecutors told the judge, Mr. Kingston treated fraud like a business model. That line hit like a hammer. The same kid who sang about suicidal beautiful girls was now being painted as a serial scammer who couldn't stop scheming. His mom? She was facing her own charges right next to him, described as the partner who made sure the money flowed. Now, the sentencing. Sean Kingston stood in front of the judge. No flashy jewelry, no big smile. Just a man facing the consequences of years of bad decisions. The judge called him out for his history of financial crimes, saying he had abused his fame to mislead and manipulate. Sean was sentenced to prison time and ordered to pay restitution. His mom wasn't spared either. She got hit with her own sentence, proof that this was truly a family hustle gone wrong. But Sean's fall wasn't just about fraud. It was about years of messy label drama, money mismanagement, and flat-out beef that chipped away at his career long before the courtroom ever did. Back in his prime, Sean was signed under Epic and had ties to Sony. The label pumped serious money into his early career, but insiders later claimed he didn't always take the business side seriously. Missed deadlines, clashing with execs, and blowing through advance money became part of the story. Multiple producers have even spoken out saying Sean would beg them for beats, promise payment or credits, and then ghost when it was time to cut the check. That kind of rep spreads fast in the industry. And before long, some producers straight up refused to work with him. And then came more lawsuits. We already talked about jewelers, but that was just one piece of the puzzle. Sean was sued by a Miami watch company for allegedly walking off with a $300,000 piece he never fully paid for. He was sued by a car dealership after failing to make payments on a luxury whip. Even a private jet company came after him, claiming he owed them over $27,000 for flights he booked but never covered. One by one, the lawsuits painted the picture of a man desperate to hold on to a lifestyle that was slipping through his fingers. Fans were catching on too. By the late 2000s and 10s, Sean Kingston's name wasn't trending because of music. It was trending because of his money problems. Social media started treating him like a walking cautionary tale. Whenever a new artist popped off, fans would comment, "Don't go out like Sean Kingston." It became a whole meme. People even joked that his Wikipedia should have had professional scammer under occupations. And the beefs? Oh, They didn't help either. He had a public run-in with Migos back in 2017 that turned into a brawl outside a Vegas show. He also clashed with Soulja Boy, who roasted him online over unpaid debts and claimed Sean was always begging for favors. That kind of drama made it hard for people to take him seriously as an artist. But here's the thing. Sean always found a way to pop back up. He'd tease a new single, claim he had big features on the way, or promise a comeback album. And fans, out of nostalgia, would give him another shot. But then, boom, another lawsuit, another fraud allegation, another headline about money gone wrong. It became a cycle that seemed impossible to break. By the time the wire fraud case hit, the world wasn't even surprised anymore. People weren't shocked that Sean Kingston was in trouble. They were shocked at how deep it went. Over $1 million in scams, with his own mother in the mix? That's not just messy. That's tragic. In the courtroom, prosecutors laid it bare. They said Sean had spent years using his fame as a weapon, convincing businesses that if they just extended him credit, gave him product, or wired him money, they'd get the clout of working with a celebrity. But instead of honoring those deals, Sean and his mom allegedly pocketed the goods and left others holding the bag. When the judge handed down his sentence, it wasn't just about jail time. It was about sending a message. Sean was ordered to pay back a mountain of restitution, and the court made it clear his mama wasn't innocent either. She was sentenced alongside him, cementing this case as one of the wildest mother-son hustles in celebrity history. And the fallout? Fans were split. Some were heartbroken, remembering the kid who gave them beautiful girls and saying it was sad to see him fall this far. Others were ruthless, roasting him nonstop. Memes flew across X and Instagram. Fire burning, but it's your credit score. Beautiful girls and bankrupt bills take you there, but only if you're paying gas. Social media turned his discography into punchlines, and honestly, people were having way too much fun with it. But here's the messy part that makes this whole story sting even more. Some industry insiders claim Sean Kingston blew through over $30 million across his career. $30 million. Between label advances, touring money, features, endorsements, and collabs. And now, he's sitting in a courtroom being sentenced for wire fraud. That's the kind of decline that feels unreal until you see it play out. Flashback to those early days when he was rolling with Justin Bieber on tour, collabing with Nicki Minaj, smiling on red carpets like life was set forever. Now fast forward to today, standing next to his mom as a judge reads off fraud charges. It's a fall from grace so sharp it feels like a movie. And it leaves fans asking, how does someone with that much talent, that much opportunity throw it away? Was it bad management, bad habits? Or was it simply greed and the inability to live within his means? Whatever the answer, Sean Kingston's story is now etched in the history books, not just as a pop reggae star, but as a cautionary tale about fame, money, and fraud. So now the big question is, can Sean ever bounce back from this? Or is his career officially finished? Jail time, debt, lawsuits, beef, and public humiliation? That's a lot to come back from. But then again, in this industry, stranger comebacks have happened. What do you think, though? Is Sean Kingston done for good, or will he try to pull another comeback season when he gets out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're still here rocking with me. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next messy story. I'll see you on the next one.